How's it going, everyone? I'm Al, and it's time for Monday Night StarCraft, or morning or evening, whenever it is for you. But it's Monday StarCraft. First of all, our Terran player here, well, one of two, is from China. It's Oliveira. His opponent from Texas, it is Clem. Clem is not really from Texas, but for some reason there's a meme out. Every time there's a StarCraft tournament, Clem and Cyril, and there's someone else, but I can't remember who, they kept being called from Texas. So, let's run with it. Anyway, Clem actually from France, and before you get upset and click away and it's like, Terran versus Terran, bear with me and let's delve into this and see that this matchup is actually not that bad when you're not the one playing it. So if any of you are still, actively playing StarCraft and you are a Terran player, TVT sucks. I've complained about it a lot in my videos where I'm playing. I hate this matchup to play. But to watch, it can be really interesting. If it doesn't end in the first 3 minutes, which, also happens. Obviously, very volatile matchup, but very, very kind of position dependent, and where the players are, where they're positioning their tanks and their armies and how they're taking up into their sky units, their air units and stuff like that. It's a very dynamic matchup, and it's constantly, a kind of thing of trying to beat the other player in terms of positioning. So it feels, it's a very mechanic-based matchup, but definitely there is a sense of, you gotta have a little bit of an idea and a strategy of what you want to do when you're taking the opponent. Defender's advantage in Terran versus Terran is insane. When you've got, for instance, tanks sieged up here, in a nice spot here, how as the other Terran do you attack into this area? So definitely a match that, if it doesn't end early, can go the distance and become a very nice, longer game. And these two players are some of the best Terrans that the world has to offer. So quickly, I'm going to give you the overall rankings. Then I'm going to talk about their rankings in terms of Terran players. So Clem is rank 9 in the world. That is very high. Oliveira, rank 11. So they're right up there. In terms of Terran, Clem is a rank 4 Terran in the world, and Oliveira, rank 5. So these two are right next to each other. But bearing in mind, Oliveira is the world champion of StarCraft as of IEM Katowice, which this replay comes from. So yeah, very exciting stuff between these two. Oh, what am I? That's not something we normally see. Nice, I like that. But yeah, I'm talking a lot because we have a little bit of downtime. These two players are just macroing up. They're not trying to go for early crazy stuff against each other. Oliveira is actually coming out to have a little bit of a scout around with the alien, which is now going to be chased away. But yeah, nothing too crazy yet in the beginning stage of the matches. Clem going for a Cyclone. Oliveira deciding to go for the Raven instead. Oftentimes, Terran versus Terran comes down to, the air units. And for instance, there's a lot of value having Vikings in this matchup. It's one of the few matchups where you actually see Vikings a lot. Because having that air dominance means that your tanks are going to be in a better position, which leads you to have a better position on the map. And remember, this matchup is all about positioning. Oh, wouldn't mind. I wonder, he probably sees it. Yeah, he probably saw the little hole there. So when it comes down to that positioning, having that air dominance does help. What that also means, though, is that you don't have healing, because you'll tend to prioritize Vikings over medevacs. But if you got the air superiority, you can switch from Vikings into Liberators, which means you can take down the opponent's tanks and start slow pushing into their territory. So a very dynamic matchup, in theory, should be really fun to play, but the problem is everything deals so much damage, everything has such low health that generally when I play it, I just die. But yeah, 3 workers going down to these Reapers. Nice little pick off. In a mirror matchup, getting any form of workers is nice. These Reapers are probably going to pay with it. Pay for it. Yeah, there comes the Cyclone flank. So, not bad, but also not amazing. Reapers are not the worst thing to trade out because obviously they don't scale very well. I think this is Oliveira. Oliveira. I said it wrong again. Why did I say it wrong? I had a previous video of him, and for some reason I read it as Oliveira, like I-E, not E-I. Don't know. No idea. Like, I don't even know anyone called Oliveira. I don't know. So it's Oliveira. There we go. My pronunciation, even for, I mean, this is not even a, this is not like a very complex name. I don't know. You know, my talking skills are sometimes a little bit not up to par. But that's alright. That's alright. We have fun with it. Okay, both players now taking their thirds. The siege tanks are coming out, and we need to keep our eyes on the siege tank production. Raven's obviously very good in this matchup. A Raven is able to disable. Ooh, gonna get in here, get a couple of workers. How much is he getting? 2. So, yeah, 3 for 2. Not bad. But yeah, Ravens are very good because Ravens have an ability that is disables the siege tanks, so the siege tanks can't fire. Interruption. Wow. Yep, talking not working for me today. But yeah, the matrix thing that makes them interrupted. Hey, there we go, I got the word out. So, very good. After a couple of Ravens, obviously, generally we'll see whether they're going Vikings, Medivacs. Medivacs does help to give you a little bit of, you know, dropping into the back kind of power, but not the ideal thing. I don't think you win this matchup with drops for the most part. And these two players are actually generally aggressive players, and they're both playing quite passively at the moment. Just kind of feeling their way through this game. Sensor tower is obviously very important in a matchup that's all about positioning. But yeah, bunch of Marines out so far. Supply is very close. Clem is a little bit in a lead. He's got a little bit more army supply. But they've both got their third base up and running and feeling pretty good. Their upgrades are pretty much... Oh, actually no. Combat shields is a little bit ahead for Clem. +1/+1 is pretty much even. So they're both going Medivacs. Cool. Here we get a huge bio army. Well, a decent bio army moving out this side. I think he wants to attack as soon as combat shields is finished. Combat shields obviously an upgrade that helps a lot in this matchup. Giving the Marines 10 extra health does allow them to, I won't say shrug off a tank shell, but at least kind of fare a little bit better. At the same time, Oliveira is on this side with his own group of Marines. Gonna see if he can get something done himself. Now, you know, as a Terran player, that you cannot just come walking up this ramp, because the minute you do, these bad boys will start shelling, and you see their area. It's massive. Tanks can shoot really far. Ooh, nice scan there. Catches those Medivacs. These Marines gonna cycle around, try to catch off the, or to pick off the Medivacs. Fourth base already floating across for both players. There you go. Single Reapers still being annoying here. Eventually picked off. So, slower start to this game. But at some stage, it's gonna have to boil down to a big engagement. Oliveira has switched up his Medivac production for Vikings now. I do like the Vikings because they help to zone out the Ravens, which means the tanks don't get as hard hit. I mean, they could still be. So now it's an almost maxed out Terran in Clem versus Oliveira, who's got a lot of supply too. Clem is pushing in 2 different locations here. Scans do reveal where each player is. What was attacking that? Hang on. Just bear with me. Look at this tank. This tank dies. He targets his own tank. Oh no! Poor tank. That's actually pretty bad. That's unlucky. Okay, so Clem trying to see if he can find some way to maneuver himself in, but I think he's just going to gather his army together, yeah. Ooh, he could go for a little bit of a... Oh. Gotta watch out. Is he going to collapse on top of this army? The tanks are sieging up. Oh, Clem's tank's also sieging up now, and it is a bloodbath in the middle of the map. So many disruptors, interference matrices go down. I think Oliveira's got a little bit of a better situation, but there's more tanks left for Clem. He's going to drop now with his medevacs onto these tanks. Vikings getting rid of all the air, but so many tanks remain. That's a lot of tanks. That's 4 tanks versus 9. Alright, that engagement went the way of Clem. Both bio armies are absolutely demolished. And because of the air dominance, like I say, there comes the Liberators. So Clem's not going to overstay his welcome. He's going to move away with his units. Massive engagement there in the middle. Now, those are very hard to take. Very difficult engagements. Upgrade-wise, perfectly even. +3 is on the way for both players, as well as +2 for the ship and vehicle weapons. Tank count is always important, so it's still 11 versus 5. The Liberators are going to help. A couple of Marines rushing in to a bunch of sieged up tanks. Not a position you want to be in. So Clem's not even trying to contest the air at this point. He's happy to just try to use his Marines and try to get rid of the... Gets rid of both Liberators. Does lose a bunch of Marines in the process. But with these tanks in a good position, yeah, he's going to leapfrog them a little bit forward. Scans, going to start getting rid of a couple of things here. See Oliveira running around. Okay, and that is all that he wants to do. So this is the thing. This is really a battle of inches. You just got to slowly try break a position here and there. These scans are absolutely sixth sense. Beyond scanning that army, they're seeing that a part of it has been picked off and moved around. At least I think so. It's very hard to tell whose scan is whose. Okay, here we go. Clem pushing into this lower base on the western side of the map. There is a planetary. It is going to be healed up. But these tanks are in a siege position. They're able to hit that planetary. He's got to pull the workers out there. This base does go down. That is definitely a good position for Clem. These 2 medevacs. Oh, one gets picked off. He was trying to harass this side a little bit. Very difficult to harass with these medevacs into planetaries and sieged up tanks and things like that. So Clem's getting himself into a very nice position here. Got these tanks on the low ground, but with scans, he's able to hit the... I think he's able to hit the Vespine Geyser. Bit of an engagement coming up from this side. 3 medevacs going to drop units into the main. This is not where you want to see medevacs. 1 medevac does fall. Yeah, when you've got Marines in your own main, that is a dangerous area to be in because this is your very squishy production. There is a tank that's helping to defend. It is sieged up. And it should be able to help clear. At the same time, Oliveira... I'm going to have to rewind a little bit. Sorry, these guys are all over the place. He just comes running straight up this ramp, pushes into the third base of Clem. Doesn't even siege up his tanks yet. Oh, there comes the 1 siege tank. Nice, interrupted there. These siege tanks are going to be sieging up. He's pushing straight into the natural. At the same time, Clem has also been pushing into the natural of Oliveira, and it's a kind of base trade that's going on here. Terran versus Terran. Now in a straight up base trade situation, this is definitely going to get better for Oliveira because he's got air units. That's a lot of bases going down. So far it is 1 base versus a lot more for Clem. 1, 2, 3. Tanks are sieged up on the ramp in the main. There is 1 siege tank here helping to defend for Clem. The rest of the blue Terran army is going to be drawing back. There is still a little bit of mining, so it's 2 bases. The CC has landed again, but Clem has happily been mining in these 2 bases. This army is not dealt with yet. And it's going to cost him a little bit to try to get in here. Not too much though. Couple of medevacs. The CC has just been floating around. Please catch it. He does see it. But I think he's a little bit... Oh, he's got nothing to actually catch it with. Wow. Tank count still very similar. Air dominance still going to Oliveira. But worker count is quite in the lead for Clem at this point. So I think Clem definitely has a healthier position. He has a ton of ACVs just going in a straight line. Where are you mining from? That must be the closest CC. Okay, anti-armor missile going down. Siege tank's going to siege up here just outside this base. This base is necessary. Oliveira can't afford to lose this one. He's not going to rush his defense. Yeah. Clem's going to rotate around once again. But yeah, here you can see Terran versus Terran. Very interesting. Very, very tricky matchup. Ooh, I like the siege position. He's going to be able to get to the workers there. Very, very nice siege position here from Clem. And how do you break this? He's going to have to get himself in such an awkward position to try to break this. Oh, not the Raven. Okay, Bio Army is coming around to help defend against this. Clem is reinforcing around the back of this base. The tanks are just going to be able to keep that mineral line from harvesting. And that is putting a big dent into the economy of Oliveira. Clem asserting his dominance in this game so far. Oliveira is going to have to do something quite special to get his way back in because he is mining a lot less. Bio Army pushing in once again. Here comes the rotation for the defense. Tanks are sieging up now. It's a lot of Marines versus Marines. This base still can't get any mining done. That being said, there is a bit of mining that's going on at these other bases. Clem is taking another base himself. So he's going to be quite happy with that. Yeah, his bases still look pretty fine. His main, there's nothing left. Just leaving these tanks here makes this base pointless. Okay, Clem's going to rotate around now. His turn to try to get into a good position. He is maxed out. So, if Oliveira is able to max out, his army is going to be better. He just needs to get to that point, but because he's lacking a little bit of minerals. Ooh, big pickup, yeah. Or they're going to fly into the Vikings. That's 2 tanks going down. Well, just 1 tank. He was able to drop it in time. Ooh, big drop here in the main base by Oliveira. He's going to be able to cancel a lot of this production. That's going to force Clem to turn around and come back home. He's got no defenses. A couple of siege tanks are sieging up here, but this is some serious damage going down, and this is just Marines. I don't think he's going to mind too much losing a couple of Marines for this damage. Getting rid of the factory, getting rid of some of the production. And that eases a lot of the pressure off of his bases. Oh, if only he could now collapse on these 3 tanks. But just doing that, pulling that army away, has meant that this base can now once again start mining. Clem's going to continue pushing in now. Army size is very similar. Clem has a lot more workers, and that's the only reason why his supply is so much higher. Big anti-armor missile going down on all those Marines. A bunch of interference matrices going down on the siege tanks. This could be a very good engagement. All the medevacs are gone. The siege tanks are sieged up. Vikings are going to start landing. Clem's army is starting to disappear. He's got a lot of tanks left. A lot of Oliveira's supplies caught up in these Vikings. And he doesn't quite... Well, he's going to land them now. Vikings are good at mechanical units. Gets rid of all the tanks. And now Oliveira has jumped up in supply with a fantastic engagement there. He actually has an upgrade in the ship and vehicle weapons. So that's definitely a good spot for him to be in. He's going to put 1 more tank, Clem that is, outside again in the hopes of being able to stop some of this mining. These Vikings are getting a lot of use. Here we go. Okay, so Oliveira puts a tank in there. Oh, look at all the damage on those ACVs. Woo! That's 4 ACVs that go down just because they were repairing that tank. Clem's going to push into this side once more. Army size is still bigger for Oliveira, but remember, a lot of that is caught up in the Vikings. The mining is still better for Clem, so Clem's going to be able to remax a lot faster, and I think this is a point where, yeah, he's scanning now to see bases. Oliveira's going to have to do something because he's starting to fall behind in supply once again. But yeah, that's where that defender's advantage comes in, although he's got Ravens as well. The air superiority is helping him a lot more. He has the more sophisticated army, Oliveira that is. Sorry, I forget that Terran versus Terran, so there's a lot of barracks. They are taking a lot of shelling now, and not the biggest deal to lose a couple of barracks. There is a bio army that is moving around the side. Gonna try catch this siege up position out of, well, position. But Oliveira does see them, chases them with his own Marines. And now he's on Clem's front door, and Clem doesn't really have a good answer to this yet. He's gonna pick up a couple of tanks, try to siege them in a decent position here. But Oliveira not overstaying his welcome, he's going to pull back. He's happy with some of the damage that he's done. Oh, a couple of Marines get shelled by that tank on the high ground. Pushing once more into this side. Clem trying to find some form of space where he can get in and get a little bit of damage done. Big pickups going on here. Is he just going to doom drop his entire army into the main? Oh, please see this. Ooh, single liberator. I love that. I don't think he sees it. Oh, he'll see it now. At the same time, there is an army moving around the outside. Clem's going to get himself in a very good position here. Tanks are sieged up in the main. There's a huge bio army here. And yeah, not much to deal with it. You've got those air units, but they're not going to do anything. Clem is also sieged up just outside this base. Okay, bio army is coming in here. These tanks are interrupted, so they cannot be firing. This is going to be cleared up. But there's still a lot of pressure on this base, although the mining hasn't been affected, so maybe not the biggest deal. The supplies are sitting at 170 to 145 at the moment. 71 workers to 45. And Clem is sitting in a very good position. This tank hasn't been dealt with. Go Marine! Oh yes, single Marine to kill the tank. This army will be chased out. Those Ravens putting in their fair share of work against those tanks. Sieging up here. Oh, this is very close. A lot more supply for Clem. Armies are very similar though, but keeping in mind a lot of the army is caught in air units, which is not bad. Oh, a couple of big hits going down on these infantry. Clem is losing a big chunk of supply here. Reinforcements going to come to deal with these Marines at the same time. We see Oliveira pushing down once more. Here's the sieged up position, well, a planetary fortress. These tanks are going to be able to make quick work of it. Clem's going to just push straight through the map. He's not even going to try to defend against this. This is a glorious matchup. We are sitting on the 23-minute mark. Oh, I think Clem's going to rotate around to try to catch this army. Oliveira will see that these rocks are being taken out. Tanks are going to siege up behind, and now there's a bit of a stalemate here in the, well, just outside Clem's bases. Oliveira keeps pushing in, but now we see Clem is going to collapse onto this army. He is sieging up. A bunch of interference matrices go down, and I think Oliveira has the better position, but some reinforcements coming down from the bottom. Has Oliveira done it? Whoa. With a fantastic engagement at the end there. The Ravens just being able to put interference matrices on all those tanks meant that these tanks, they did a lot of damage. And after being behind for so long in the game, Oliveira picks off an insane win. I hope you enjoyed this one. This was such a great game of Terran versus Terran. And I know this video is probably not the greatest because most people don't like mirror matchups. But there's something cool about these two, the way these two players were playing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more StarCraft 2 content. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one.